Hello and welcome everyone to today's News Tonight, the weeknight news show where we're joined by special guests and our lovely patrons to discuss the day's gaming news. I'm your host, Derek Bittner, and I'm joined as always by my good friends and GVG co-founders, Steve Bowling and Ash Polson, along with our very special guest, MykonosFan, aka Chris, as that's probably what I'm going to be calling him for the entire thing. Chris and I, Mykonos and I have known each other for quite a while, and good to have you on the show, man. How you doing?
I'm doing okay, thank you. I was thinking, how long have we known each other? 6 years? Maybe?
Something like that.
More?
We met at a con because, you're with Find the Computer Room. So I just, all you guys are hanging out and it's like, oh, these guys are crazy. I love them.
There's a manic energy when we get together. Yeah,
sure. God, yes. There is no comparing it. It's quite wonderful. But you've been also, doing your own channel stuff and really making a name for yourself, I think. So that's been cool. Plus, I've had you do Yakuza reviews for us in the past, at least on GX.
Yeah. Oh, no, don't. You should have told me that. Because I've been playing Yakuza Like a Dragon. Now I just want to talk about that with you, man. Shit, that you shouldn't have. Yeah.
You liking it?
I liking it? No. I'm loving it, man. Are you kidding me? This game's amazing. Although I did really just hit the unfortunate pacing part later in the game where you have to make a bunch of money to proceed, and that's kind of stymied me a bit, but I'm still loving the game, and I'm going to see it through.
Nice. Yeah, it's got some awkward spots like that, but all in all, very good game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I do want to point out before we begin, sorry, Derek.
No.
We all recently appeared in a video I've been talking about for like 4 months. So Scott the Waz's 200th episode,
right?
Borderline Forever, finally launched, and the three of us were fortunate enough to play a very, very small part in it. So if you haven't seen it, which I'm sure you have because I'm seeing it mentioned in our YouTube chat, go check that out. We're in around like the first minute and a half or so.
No, a little bit later than I think it's like at the first 5 to 6 minutes, I think.
Yeah, there's a lot of YouTubers in there.
I got to check it out. I have not had a chance to yet, but I love that finally came out.
I love that he put us with the guys over at Nintendo Life as well. That was a cool little edit.
Yeah,
nice.
I liked that. It was the first time in a while we've been together with John, so it was dream though we might. But who knows? Maybe we'll have a Nintendo Life crossover sometime.
I think that's likely a possibility.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I'd love that.
But,
we also got to have our good buddy John specifically back on the show one of these days. It's just so hard with the time difference, of course. But we obviously love him to death, and we want to do stuff with him as well.
Yep, absolutely. Before we go on, though, we got to mention another wonderful crossover we have every Monday with The Game Orb, who is sponsoring this episode, and it's always very, very much appreciated. And The Game Orb is a fledgling channel that has focused mostly on Nintendo content until recently, while they're still running their Let's Plays of Nintendo games like Splatoon 2, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Going forward, they're also going to be covering games on the Xbox Series X like Rocket League and Portal. Portal still alive, as part of a new daily upload schedule. So be sure to subscribe to The Game Orb at the link in the description, and I have not checked their sub count.
I think it's at 228. I think I was just... Yeah. It's 227. So we're still really trying to push them up above 250.
Trying to get there. We're pushing.
Yeah. And, obviously we are so, we're so thankful for the Game Orb's generous support of our channel. So please, GV Gang, please community, show them our love and show them your love and just subscribe and push them up over 250. They've got some great content coming. And we love the Game Orb, and we want you to love them as well. So let's get that sub count over 250 and maybe 300 after that. Who knows? But thank you so much for your incredible support of our show and our channel, the Game Orb.
Absolutely. Sub to him or I'll help you get the belt.
Yes, and I'm posting links to the Game Orb and his friend Galactic Reaper's YouTube channels in the chat right now.
Yes. Also, be sure to check out Galactic Reaper, who they are promoting. That's how good of a guy Game Orb is. He's doing this whole sponsorship, and he's still promoting his friends. So that is awesome. So we'll have that. Ash is putting those links in the chat right now.
Yes, they are there, and I'm going to put them in our Patreon exclusive chat as well.
Yep. So let's say we get to the news because there's some rather big rumors starting to hit. We are close to E3, so they're coming now.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get that first story on screen.
All right, probably one of the biggest rumors going on right now. Square Enix seems to be set to announce a new action RPG Final Fantasy spinoff, and that in itself is kind of crazy. So this is was being reported by Fanbyte, which I believe Imran works at right now. Correct, Steve?
That's correct. Friend of the show, Imran Khan,
Yes.
doesn't just work there. He's their news editor, so he kind of steers the ship.
Kind of can trust in maybe trust in this one. That's why it's getting reported on, because it seems to have some backing behind it. But the rumor states that Square Enix is working with Team Ninja, Koei Tecmo's in-house development team behind games like Ninja Gaiden and Neo, and perhaps most relevant, as they're saying, relevantly to the latest entry in the Final Fantasy fighting game series, Dissidia NT. So the rumors go on further by assigning the game a genre, something akin to Neo or the Souls games, and suggesting it takes place somewhere in or adjacent to the world of the first Final Fantasy game on the NES.
Wow.
Their sources even corroborated this rumor and suggested the name of the game is Final Fantasy Origin. So we're getting if this is true, we're getting a Final Fantasy game from the creators that worked on Neo, which I know has gotten good word of mouth. It's a pretty good Souls-like game, and that's pretty crazy. I gotta say, it makes sense. It makes me think of Dragon Quest Builders. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
You mean just in the sense of a crossover in that way?
A crossover, but also like tying it into the original canon. So like
gotcha.
Dragon Quest Builder being like, this is
Right.
what would have happened if you took the Dark Dragon Lord's offer. Final Fantasy, what are they going to do with this one? Because, the great thing about it is immediately you can have a job-like system for this one. Like, it'd be really cool to go through this game as a black mage, as a warrior, as a thief, goes and so on. I think if this is true, has a ton of potential, I think.
The one thing I want to say is that, Imran, besides being a friend of GVG, is a very close personal friend of mine. And I can tell you just from knowing him well that if he's confident enough in a rumor to post this, he has seen outright confirmation of its existence. So I don't believe that he would stick his neck out for an article like this on a hunch or on something he could not concretely verify. So Imran is one of a handful of journalists that when he posts a rumor, I'm like, okay, that's real. That's,
right.
Him, Jason Schreier, some of the more some other friends of the show, Kat, Tina Amini, those folks, when they post stuff like that, I believe that they've done their due diligence and have seen from sources like the actual game. So I'm full on in the camp that this is a real thing that we're going to see very soon.
Same. And I do believe that there is a huge amount of potential here. Speaking as someone who would be the target audience for this, I am not really into Souls-like games. Neo, just not my thing. I've never really gotten into them. But you know how to get me into them? Wave Final Fantasy in front of my face, or wave a Square Enix IP in front of my face and draw me in that way. Because
we're trying to get you into an MMO this way. Like, come on, Ash, get into Final Fantasy 14.
Why I'm not likely to go play Dark Souls or Demon Souls or whatever. I am interested in a Final Fantasy-esque or branded version of one of these games because I just I love the aesthetics of Final Fantasy so much of Square Enix. I'm a Square Enix fan straight up. So. This, as speaking as someone who would be directly targeted by this, this could be a critical hit in the making. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
How are you feeling
I guess
about
to
this,
that
Kristen?
end, do you expect this to maybe be kind of a gateway drug into these genre then? Because I feel like, especially for me, you just hear constantly about how hard these games are, right? And I just think about playing them, and I'm like, I just want to relax when I play a game. I'm just that kind of person. But I think if they found like a nice middle ground between a really intensive kind of Souls game and something that's not too easy, I think this could really kind of gateway it into their games like Neo. Do you think that's possible, or do you think they'll just kind of go all the way and just say like, it's tough, deal with it?
No, I think it's possible because I see in the chat, the patron chat, Rob Arman X is saying supposedly this will be closer to Jedi Fallen Order and less like Souls. And I've not played Jedi Fallen Order, but I've also heard it's not nearly as tough as a Souls game. It just has some elements.
It definitely isn't. Yeah, I've played
because I played a little bit of that. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I like the idea. I think I like more modern Final Fantasy games. I was not a big fan of the original NES Final Fantasies. But this could get me interested in them in a way that, you know, the original source material has failed to, because it kind of I imagine that a game like this would flesh out the world in really unique and interesting ways. And
Potentially,
you know,
or it could just be a way to have like name drops.
Yeah, true. Getting to see it from a more modern perspective, though, might interest me in going back and, you know, actually playing the original Final Fantasy. Just because that's something I've honestly never done. I didn't have an NES back then, and I never really thought to go back and do it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's a part of this that really intrigues me more than anything, not necessarily from a good or bad way, just in general. Like, as someone who has played Final Fantasy 1 on both NES and GBA as part of that remake, it's interesting that they're apparently, again, if this is all real, choosing to connect this to the lore, specifically of Final Fantasy 1. And it just makes you wonder why do that instead of just making an original story in an original FF universe. I'm sure once we play it, again, assuming this is all real, that we'll find out. But it's just interesting that they're choosing specifically to anchor it to the first FF game, especially when not a whole lot has been done with the first FF game recently. So who knows why? But
I think that's has an interesting potential because it brings in the idea of a more traditional fantasy type Final Fantasy.
Sure, that's true.
It sort of makes it stand out a bit more from 7 Remake and you know, even 16, even though that is going a bit more fantasy-ish, but that's more Game of Thrones type fantasy from what we've seen so far. This would be more Lord of the Rings fantasy,
right?
Type stuff. There is a bit more info in here. So, according to the article, it seems to be exclusive to PlayStation 5 with a PC release further down the road, and will be a tentpole at Square Enix's upcoming E3 show. So it won't be long until we find out if this is true or not. But apparently, the logo and demo plans have even been leaked as part of all this. So it seems like Square Enix is hoping to release an alpha demo this summer, not unlike Neo's public alphas, to solicit feedback from the audience while the game is still in a fairly early state. The demo, like several other major demos, has its own title of Stranger in Paradise. So
that sounds like something Square would do.
Wasn't there an old Final Fantasy like tech demo called Stranger? I feel like that's...
Was there?
I really feel like there was, like, one of, maybe it was a PS4 early tech demo that they released that was originally Final Fantasy related called Stranger. Now I'm gonna have to look that up, but that sounds for some reason, as soon as you said Stranger, I that stuck in my mind.
Yeah.
It
is interesting that they're going with this name, though, because as we all probably remember, Final Fantasy Origins was a PS1 compilation of classic Final Fantasy games. So it's just, I think it was 5 and 6, correct?
No, 1 and 2.
Was it 1 and... Oh, right. No, I'm thinking
Final Fantasy Origins was 1 and 2. Anthology was 5 and 6.
Anthology was 5 and 6. And then
Chronicles was Chrono Trigger and 4.
Right. Yeah. So it's just, they've already got Final Fantasy Origins, but I guess it's been long enough since then that they can just probably get away with it again. Also, as Rob Arman X points out in the patron live audience chat, the PSP Dissidia games also tied into the original FF1. So that's a good point. This isn't the first time they've gone back to the FF1 lore well for a spin-off game. So interesting.
Perfect chance to out a Gilgamesh fight.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh boy, but yeah, I mean, just in general, I am so for this. I want it. I want it so bad, and I can't wait to see. I really hope it looks good. So fingers crossed that it, lives up to this possibility. I guess the fact that it just has so much potential. There we go. Potential is what I was looking for.
Right.
God. Before we move on to our next topic, though, we got quite a few super chats, so thank you all so much for that. As just a reminder that we'll read all the super chats in between stories, that way we don't just break it up, but we will get to them, and they are all very much appreciated. JJ the Killer with a $5 Canadian donation says, "Yo GVG, what do you think of my Borderline Forever roster pick that I put on Twitter? Shout out to Steve, who's player 2." I saw that. That's pretty cool. The "Everyone is Here" image, that was really cool.
I have not seen this, but I'm gonna go check it out right now because I'm curious.
You should. It's just it was pretty cool. Like trying to find. I was like, all right, where am I at? But yeah, I really did like the work put into that. Goldstorm07 with a $5 donation says, "Sorry, I was away. Can you all introduce each other again?" Our special guest, MykonosFan. That's the important one you need to know. Yes.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
If you're here
He's
and
Derek.
giving us money and you don't know us, I'm a little confused.
Right.
But it's still
Thank you.
appreciated.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Storm's
But yes,
one of
it's
my
our
favorite ones.
guest who is the most important to point out today, of course.
TB Skyen with, I do not know that currency. 50
Those I think are Danish kroners, I believe.
Danish krones. Okay.
Uh,
With saying, I'd expect something. It's very much appreciated, but also I'd expect something more like a spectacle fighter. Final Fantasy is traditionally an anime spectacle series, especially with Team Ninja's Dissidia history. That would be something, I guess, more Devil May Cry, less Neo.
Yeah.
Which
I
I'd
would
be
be
okay with
down
that, too.
for.
still work.
Yeah, I was going to bring it up during the discussion, but I think it would be cool to have a game based on like a long-standing RPG series like Final Fantasy, where you're like the fully leveled up hero and you're just tearing through swaths of like underleveled enemies. That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But I agree
mean,
that would be more like a
Well, you know what that
Musou
means,
game.
right? It's time for a Dirge of Cerberus remake where they just give it that gameplay.
Oh boy.
I mean, I have, especially given how flashy Dissidia is, I've thought often about how cool it would be to have a Final Fantasy Musou game where you are playing as all of these iconic Final Fantasy characters who are animated the hell out, like as anime as they can ever get, doing all these flashy moves. I feel like Final Fantasy is made for that kind of Musou-esque flashiness. So maybe we'll get some style of that out of the animations in this potentially upcoming game.
It would be
that
cool.
Would be so cool. I'm not going to hold
Yeah.
my breath though. I when I think of Souls-like, I think of a much more slow, methodical pace.
Yes.
Definitely.
So we'll
Yeah.
see how it all goes. And I think that style works better for the not necessarily the party system, but just picking what your class will be. And with Final Fantasy, you can really make those classes stand out from each other. So
Right.
we'll see.
And by the way, JJ the Killer, I found it on Twitter and I just retweeted it. This is awesome, man. Well done. This is really cool. And thank you all for your donations. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. But let's go ahead and move on to our next story, which, shock and awe, I think Mykonos has a lot to say. Well, knows a bit about this one.
oh yeah, really.
Coming from trusted news source MykonosFan on Twitter, the same retailer that listed Sonic Colors Ultimate is now listing a Sonic Collection. And yeah, it's so gamely apparently what it is, Chris.
Yeah, someone passed this to me, like, I guess the second people found out, so I tweeted it out. And amazingly, the listing's still up. I kind of expected that one to get shot down, but it's still hanging up. But yeah, as far as I know, this would be an authentic listing. This isn't some site that just anyone can put wish list items into and they just proliferate or something. So I wish there was a name or some kind of indication of what it is, but there is a Sonic collection, and there have been rumors about that for month or so now, I guess. So probably happening, and I feel like that Sonic Colors thing is probably happening too,
Right.
most likely.
And of course, the I guess the real hope here, and this is, and I used this image in the thumbnail for today's video specifically for this reason. We're hoping that potential rumors of this collection, including Sonic 3 and Knuckles, pan out. Like that's the main thing for me about this. We've had Sonic collections before. I'd love to have another Sonic collection on modern platforms. But what I want more than anything is Sonic 3 and Knuckles on modern platforms. And who knows? This may end up being nothing. Steve, I know you and I were talking about how the fact that there may not be anything here, and this may turn out to be a big, fat nothing burger. But maybe it is. Maybe this is a thing. And if it is, I really want Sonic 3 and Knuckles to be on it so badly, as I know we all do.
The thing that gives me pause about this specific listing, is that we are close to E3, and as we know, retailers love to slip up right before E3. Shout out to Walmart Canada, but so there is the potential that this is one of Sega's E3 announcements that is just making its way out the door a little bit early. That's sincerely what I hope. I'm with you, Ash. Sonic 3 has been gone for so long, and as far as I understand the history of that, it's down to the soundtrack. just replace the damn soundtrack, Sega.
Well, and now we know there are
it.
songs that were made that were, I believe, used in the Steam version of the game for the Michael Jackson songs that would need to be replaced, like Carnival Night Zone, Ice Cap Zone. That stuff is ready and waiting. They're not as good as the MJ versions, but you know what? I will take that sacrifice if it means I can have Sonic 3 and Knuckles on modern platforms, man.
Yes.
Come on.
Yeah.
I think the last time it ever released was on Steam, I think, like 10 and a half years ago or something. Like 2010 is the last time Sonic 3 was made available for purchase. I think even it's backwards compatible on Xbox One and I guess the Xbox Series, but you have to go to their web portal and purchase it. I don't think you can do it through the console. So making that easier to play nowadays would probably be a good idea.
I feel like that would sell pretty well. I actually saw a suggestion from Adam Davis. Christian, what if instead of how would you feel, Ash and Steve, if instead of Sonic Mania 2, instead Christian Whitehead was working on porting definitive versions like we got on the cell phone of Sonic 1 and 2 and now Sonic 3 and Knuckles to as part of this collection, like trying to make those, like all those versions finally on something other than phones. I guess Sonic CD as well.
Well, I was about to say that, like, my ideal, my dream for this collection would be for it to be the Taxman versions of 1 and 2, a proper port of Sonic 3 and Knuckles, and let's just throw an Adventure and Adventure 2 in there for good measure. But if you're going to make me choose, if you're saying it's a new Sonic Mania-esque game or the Taxman versions of 1 and 2, as much as I want those off phone and Xbox Live Arcade, I'd still want my proper Mania follow-up more than anything, I have to say.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I feel like Sonic Mania for me was like everything I wanted from a brand new Sonic game. And so to get a sequel to that, like something that improves on Mania, I'd have to take that. As much as I would love those improved Sonic ports to be available on my Switch. Because I'm not going to say modern devices. I'm just going to come out and say it. I want them on my Switch. I don't care where the hell else they are. But, I mean, I don't need 2D Sonic in 4K. I need it in my bag. So I'll take Sonic on the Switch. Thanks a lot. You can port it to Xbox in like 10 years. I'll play it then too. But for now, give me Sonic on the Switch. I want every old Sonic game. But if I had to choose, Mania 2 takes it every time.
And sorry, the way I constructed that sentence was a little bit misleading, but what I meant was, Sonic CD, the Taxman version, is on Xbox, and then everything else is only on mobile. I didn't really have a way to specify that, but I see you, Rob Armanex. Thank you for the...
That's how I finally played Sonic CD for the first time. It was nice. It was fun. So.
And it's such a good version of it. We're playing as Tails, and I mean, but dude, having the Taxman versions of 1 and 2 on a proper console, off mobile, would be so hype, because I love... I mean, we've talked about how great these versions are, but I just love the way that with Tails and Knuckles, you can fly or climb that wall at the beginning of Marble Zone Act 1, and there's a whole new part of the level up there for them that you can, in your head, you can say, oh man, that was always up there, wasn't it? Even though it wasn't. But I love that stuff, and I just love those kinds of additions.
Man. We'll see if I
guess we'll see.
Yeah.
You know, one thing I want to put out there into the universe, hold on, before we continue, I would love it if we got an and Knuckles style add-on for Sonic Mania. Like, if they did the exact same thing, like that's what's taken so long. They built some BS lock-on technology DLC so that we could get new stuff added to those existing. That would be like, I mean,
wasn't that kind of what Mighty and Ray did?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of got that with the new mode added along with Mighty and Ray, right? The Encore mode.
Kind of.
Kind of. But it's not quite the same thing.
Yeah, it's not like dropping them into levels that otherwise look identical, I feel like.
Right.
But yeah, but either way, Sonic Mania 2, I don't think it's happening. I'm going to call that I'm not going to see it at E3, and I will cry.
You don't think it's happening at all?
That. I don't think at E3. I don't think.
Oh, at E3, I got you. Yeah, I unfortunately I agree that we probably won't see anything about that at E3. Physically Hoy says, until you said something, Ash, I really did think that that was always there, meaning like those extra parts in like Marble Zone. Hey, you know what? Maybe they were. Maybe they weren't. Who knows? Just keep on thinking
it. Like, we don't want them to actually get there.
Yeah, exactly.
Screw the players.
Yeah.
Oh goodness. Well, before we move on, Drasman Roski, thank you very much for the 50. Oh gosh, these other currencies I can't read them.
Mexican dollars, I believe.
Mexican dollars. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry. Any thoughts on the passing of Berserk's author Kentaro Miura? I believe that's how you pronounce it. I apologize for that as well. His work inspired so many games: Final Fantasy, Dark Souls, etc. Rest in peace. I mean, I've not read Berserk myself. It's always been on my to-do list because I've heard it is that good. I was more just waiting like, okay, I know I've heard the jokes where he's been on both for months or years now. So I was just like, we'll just wait until the story's kind of told since I was all kind of done. But also the fact that, I remember when people celebrated, it's like, he's off the boat.
Yes.
That was a big deal.
So, yeah, Kentaro Miura, his work has kind of weaved its way in and out of my life. Berserk, for those of you that don't know, started in 1988 when I was 6. So I am not engaging in any hyperbole when I say I've been reading it off and on throughout my entire life. From the age that I could read. I remember my father liking Berserk, and I was one of the people celebrating when Guts got off the damn boat, and it started to become like I started to follow the series much more closely. I will admit that Berserk is not one of the manga that I followed like fervently. I wasn't a super fan, especially because, and it makes a lot of sense in hindsight, unfortunately, Kentaro Miura had to take lots of breaks, like lengthy hiatuses from creating Berserk, and again, that makes an unfortunate amount of sense. But one of his first assistants was, what's his name? George Morikawa, the creator of Hajime no Ippo, which is a boxing manga that I do follow fervently. I've been reading that for over a decade, like in real time as it releases week to week. And, it's just seeing the impact that he had. I've played Berserk video games on the Dreamcast, all the way through. I played the PS4 one a couple weeks before, his untimely death. He was only 54 years old, which,
Jesus, terrible.
I mean, you think about somebody that's been making manga since the late 80s and you imagine them to be like 75, right? You don't think they're 50.
Yeah.
How is, I don't know his name, but how the heck is the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure creator still holding up? Because he's been doing it for a long time too. Same with Case Closed creator, or I guess Detective Conan is the proper name for it.
Yeah. So it's just it's unfortunate he's gone far too soon. And his work had an impact not just on the fans of his specific manga, but all the people who learned from him. His art was legendary. I mean, if you look at Berserk, it is, I mean, it might not be your cup of tea, but it's hard to deny the man's talent.
Absolutely.
And
I think the Daybreak armor is recently as like Daybreak armor in Castlevania season 4 was probably directly inspired by Berserk. Big ass armor, big ass sword. So yeah.
I mean, you
I've
look
watched...
at things. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I was going to say I've watched some of the Berserk anime over the years. I haven't read any of the manga, but I certainly, watched parts of the Berserk anime. And as you said, Steve, the man's talent is undeniable in terms of the character designs and such. But Derek, I'll tell you this: if you want an anime that will make Castlevania even blush with its amount of gore, Berserk is it. Because
I've heard it gets rough. The anime's only ever seen the cover that one arc. So maybe we'll get a new anime that kind of covers more. I don't know.
Yeah, Berserk is fantastic, and I agree, Ash. It is one of the goriest anime out there. Like, I mean, I'm hard pressed to think of stuff that isn't specifically like, the whole lean of it is gore that are bloodier than Berserk. But there's also a really great story in there as well. Like, the story of Berserk was fantastic. Kentaro Miura, I rest in peace, man. It was a pleasure reading Berserk. I'm curious to see if there is a future for the manga, if maybe one of his assistants will pick up and continue, but now's not the time for that. I'll wait as long as it takes for them to tell us what's going to happen to Berserk.
Right.
Well, let's go ahead and continue on to our next story, which the RPG news keeps coming. So, Yuji Horii, we got that Dragon Quest event coming up soon, and Yuji Horii has hinted at things in a recent tweet, which a lot of people have taken to mean, is that Dragon Quest 12 he's talking about? Basically, he said that there will be a lot of items to discuss on Thursday, including news on that game. What is that game? Well, the most obvious one is Dragon Quest 12.
Right. Which,
I don't know.
What else could that game be? And I mean,
Hey,
I
Builders
think we
3
were all...
or Dragon Quest Heroes 3. Bring it on.
Yeah. But I
Rocket
mean,
Slime 2.
Rocket Slime 2, right? I mean, there are other things it could be, but I feel like most of us kind of feel like it's got to be Dragon Quest 12, right? And either way, we'll all be finding out together. Just to let everyone know, we will be reacting to that event. So
God, yes.
No worries. If you have any questions about that, there's your answer. Yes, we're reacting to it. But yeah, man, bring on Dragon Quest 12. You know, Derek and I have talked at length about how much we absolutely fucking adore Dragon Quest 11. What an incredible game. And I can't wait to see what the series is going to do next.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not the world's biggest Dragon Quest fan. I still need to play 11. I like 7 and 8. I kind of pick and choose the ones that I'll play within the series. But sure. I have to say I'm excited to see where the series goes from here, because I feel like 11 was a real big... I would have pegged 12 for sure as like a PlayStation exclusive until we got Dragon Quest 11S. And now I feel like it's anybody's ball game as far as where the sequel lands.
They generally pick the console that just has the most units sold. And right now, that is the Switch.
Yeah, I remember one of the iterations, Derek, you can probably keep me honest on which one it is, but it was DS exclusive, and that was a big deal.
9.
Okay,
yeah.
Right. So, and then what? We had 10 on the Wii U, which just...
10 on the Wii. It started 10.
Oh,
that's
right.
MMO.
Never mind. That makes more sense. I was about to say bucking a trend there, Square Enix, but I guess the Wii makes a lot more sense.
Yeah. It had ports on the Wii U. It had a bunch of ports over the years, but yeah, Dragon Quest 10 started out on the Wii of all things, and then just got ported to a bunch of other things. So yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the probability of seeing it on the Switch is pretty high. I would be surprised if they pulled the thing again where it's like PS5 only or PS4 only, more likely, and then move it over to the Switch later on. I feel like this is the one where they announced that it's on the Switch out of the gate.
I think so too. That seems like it makes sense given that the Switch has so much momentum right now. But I do have to say, just the thought of a Dragon Quest 12 that benefits from all the next gen tech in the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, that's just, from a technical standpoint, that just makes me, I just love the idea of it, just because DQ11 on PS4 was already so beautiful, and it realized that almost like you're playing an anime type art style.
Oh,
yep.
I went through that when we went from Dragon Quest 8 on the PS2 to Dragon Quest 9 on the DS. So it's like, it was so gorgeous, and now it's fine. I mean, 9 is one. Well, 9 just as far as looks, because 9 is one of the few Dragon Quest games I've beaten. It is a lot of fun. I need to play more Dragon Quest games myself, but 11 is that good. I've heard amazing things about 5. And I think 5 is significantly shorter than 11. So if you want to check out a Dragon Quest game, Steve, that might be the one for you. But yeah, I am so hyped for this. But I'm curious, Chris, have you checked out the Dragon Quest series at all, or?
I've played the demo for 11 that was on Switch. I beat the first Builders, and I got most of the way through Heroes, so I've had a weird sampling of this series. The Zeitgeist for a 12 would probably get me to try it, honestly, because like between you and our friends Ted and Catherine, and everyone's talking about Dragon Quest all the time, in our bubbles at least, so I'll probably hop in next time and see what's up. Just because everyone's talking about it, peer pressure, you know.
Yeah, no, that's what got me into Yakuza, was with you. Thanks.
Right. Yeah, I don't stop talking about Yakuza ever, unfortunately, for some people. You know.
Nice.
What I'm curious about this event, obviously I don't follow Dragon Quest much. Is there any kind of precedent for how much could get announced? Like, do you think it would just be 12, or do you think there might be some other things to kind of go with it?
I think there'll probably be more because it's supposed to celebrate, what is it, the 25th or 35th anniversary.
35th
Anniversary. So they're going to have probably a good bit of stuff in there. The reason it feels like such a big deal is because it's the first time one of these events has been simulcast. It has actually English subtitles, so people around the world can actually follow along, and that's a big deal. Less convenient is the fact that it's, I think, what is it, 11:30 at night my time. So that is a late night stream for
it is
for reacting to that stuff, and who knows how long that's going to go. But there is a lot of potential here. Like, we could see ports of 4 or 5. We got 1, 2, and 3 on Switch. Let's get 4, 5, and 6. Hell, let's get 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 on Switch. There's a lot of potential there because the 3DS versions of 7 and 8 brought a lot of great changes, but they could always look better, and that's one thing they kind of. Yeah. Well, 7 looks better than the PS1 version, but Dragon Quest 8 had to take a slight downgrade. But still, there's a lot they could do with those, but it all depends on what exactly they do. And there's always tons of spin-offs for Dragon Quest. So we could see a new monsters, we could see a new heroes, we could see a new builders. There's a lot of different possibilities. They have that whole spin-off thing, the Dragon Quest Dai, Legend of Dai, I think it is. I think there's a game based on that, so there could be something related to that as well. It'll probably have a bunch of stuff about just merch in there as well. So I don't know. There's a lot of different ways it could go.
I would personally
Dai is in DIY. Oh, or DII, DAI. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, DAI.
Can't spell.
I would
rhymes with my son's name, Kai.
I would personally like to see some of those Dragon Quest games that were, like you mentioned, those 3DS games put on a platform that's a bit easier to get them on now, since
we got Miitopia on the Switch, so
yeah,
right,
which actually is surprisingly good.
Ditto M the Insider in our live audience chat says it's obviously Dragon Quest Monsters, Eric and Mia, and while I know that's a joke, no lie, I would absolutely play a game based solely on the adventures of Eric and Mia. That would be awesome. I love that idea, man.
I'd be totally down for that. More Eric, more Mia. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've seen a lot of people say Fortune Street. Yes, there was a new Fortune Street that came out a few years ago with a crossover between Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest in that one, and. They think the big deal they made of it is that Sephiroth was one of the playable characters in this one around. But it's just give me more Fortune Street. Give me online Fortune Street so I can actually play the dang game, because I have it on Wii. It has a hell of a time finding everybody to play it with. So,
but this is cool. My bad. Ditto M the Insider says that's what the game is called. The Jet Set says the game is real. It's been in development. Hell, I didn't know that. So this is like a thing that's actually exists or maybe could exist someday. That's awesome. Well, that's even more exciting. I'd love to play a game starring them. So very cool.
Real quick, for those, there's a little debate about Builders 2 in the YouTube chat. Builders 2 came out in 2019, and I only know that because I played it over the holiday in my old house.
Yeah.
Goldstorm07 in our YouTube chat says, "Can we get a Sylvando game?" That's the beauty of Dragon Quest 11, right? It's like, oh man, I want an Eric game, but I also want a Sylvando game. Somebody else in our patron chat said, I want a Veronica and Serena game. All these characters in DQ11 are so wonderful and they're so beloved, and I want a game with all of them. They all should get their own spin-off games because that's how awesome this cast is.
I mean, it's possible because Dragon Quest 8 was really popular and they had a very popular character named Yangus. And he got his own spin-off game, only Japanese exclusive, but I believe it was a mystery dungeon type game.
Oh, okay.
Featuring him as a young man. So again, prequel game. So do it. It's totally possible, especially with as popular as Dragon Quest 11 seems to be. So
nice. Yeah, I would say, and I want to go on record before this happens. Before this event happens. Derek, I think you're right that there's major significance to the fact that it's being simulcast That's a huge deal. That means there's clearly something that Square Enix believes American audiences are going to be hyped for. I believe there is nothing more hype worthy than Dragon Quest 12. So I'm pretty
agree.
firm in the fact that we'll see Dragon Quest 12 at least like a teaser. I also think though that we're going to see at least, I don't know how long this event is. Do we know how long it is?
Not
I
offhand.
don't know if we do. I hope for Derek's sake it's probably under an hour.
2 hours.
I know,
Right.
right? Last time we went into an event not knowing, it was literally an all day long kind of thing.
Oh man, yeah.
Microsoft. Anyway, I'm also going to say that if this event is more than like half an hour, that we're going to get some type of either port or remake type of announcement, like something old being made new again in some kind of way. This is like my best Sylvia Brown impression. And then that would be like the 2 big things. And then I think we're going to get a smattering of like tone deaf, no one cares type of announcements. Like you said, Derek, merch, like they're going to tell us there are slime hoodies that are only available in Japan at one specific place.
Yeah, exactly. I would care if I could buy it.
yeah, I agree. But that's my point is like they'll be in one hyper specific location that no one can get to. But it'll be on a simulcast for some reason.
Right.
We'll be like, for those of you in America, these are available nowhere.
And is that event on Wednesday?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yes, Wednesday.
That is going to be a hell of a night for us between TNT and then right into that reaction.
Right? It's going to be a lot. Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Pacific, yeah.
Yep, that is a rundown, get dinner, go back, stream again kind of night.
Yep, pretty much. Oh, boy. Well, let's go ahead and move on to the next story. And we've gotten our first look at the upcoming Cuphead cartoon that is premiering. It's as part of a... let me just read the whole thing. Netflix has announced that the first looks of the Cuphead show will be debuting during their Geek Week event from June 7th to the 11th. So somewhere in that lineup, that set of dates, we'll actually see Cuphead, and whether they pulled this off or not, because again, they're going for this classic Looney Tunes-esque Animaniacs themes idea. Don't know if we actually see if it actually comes off or not, so we'll find out.
I mean, just this one image, it certainly has me interested. It has me intrigued at how this could possibly turn out, because, I mean, this is begging for this to be made in this way, and if they do it right, it could be really incredible.
I look at it and I don't feel super excited.
Really?
I don't love the art style of the animated show, and I think that's because I'm expecting something more akin to what we see in the game. It just looks off. I don't know. I don't love it.
This feels 50s, not 20s.
I see what you mean. I mean, I definitely like what I'm seeing, but it is different from what we've seen in the game, for sure. So I see where you're coming from, Steve.
Yeah, oddly enough, when I look at Cuphead, not Mugman, Cuphead, like with his big kind of gaping maw of a grin, I think of like Ren and Stimpy in a weird kind of way.
Yeah.
Like, and I just
I can see what you're saying.
don't like that for these characters, but it's a single still. I'm not like,
Right.
I'm not sworn off it yet. I need to see it in motion. I need to see what kind of humor it is. But yeah, I guess if my feeling is correct and it leaned into like the Ren and Stimpy pseudo mature style of humor that that show was known for, I probably would not love this. That's not what I would want to see from Cuphead and Mugman in an animated special, but I'm still willing to give it a shot. I will definitely be tuning into whatever Geeked Week is on Netflix to see more of Cuphead. But right now, I would say I'm not sold. I'm not completely off the wagon here, but I'm not sold yet either.
Totally.
Yeah, that's exactly where I'm at with this thing. I just look at this and it just feels like if this was any other property or something, I'd probably be more inclined to want to like it. But something about it, I just feel a little repelled just looking at it. Like that just doesn't line up with the brand image at all, really, to me. But I'll give it a shot. Hopefully it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
I can't help but look at Cuphead's design. I'm like, that's Mickey Mouse with his head cut off and a cup put on his head.
I can see that. Yeah.
The red shorts, the yellow gloves, like that's just Mickey Mouse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm sure that's just the design in general, but I don't know. I'm hopeful, but yeah, we'll see how it all actually goes.
Yeah, I don't know. Like it definitely looks different from the in-game versions for sure. There's no doubt about that. But I have to say, even this one still, I'm at least intrigued. It hasn't turned me off yet. So we'll see how it goes. Like you, Steve, though, I'm going to be tuning in to see how it looks in motion. I really want to know
Yeah, that's
because
the big tell.
whether like I'm feeling good about it or you're not, nobody can know, as you were saying, Steve, from a single still how it's actually going to turn out. So
okay,
yeah.
this one line has me a bit more hopeful. According to one in the patron chat, the guys making this cartoon are the same ones behind the new Mickey Mouse shorts. Have you seen those?
Yeah.
They are quite good. I've seen
Those
a few
are
of them.
amazing.
Yeah.
That's where we got the whole "what happened" from
Mhm.
Mickey meme and whatnot. So yeah, okay, I get that. That is confidence builder right there.
Yeah.
Same sort of thing like before the new DuckTales came out. Everybody was talking about how amazing Gravity Falls was, and then those are the guys behind the DuckTales reboot. So I was like, oh, and that turned out really good.
Right.
Seems like these guys know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
So we'll see how this turns out.
Yeah.
So
I had to Google Geeked Week just to see what on earth that was, and it said there's also going to be some news on the Witcher Netflix series. Did any of you guys check that out?
Oh
I'm not
man,
much
I
of a Witcher
not
love
person.
that
watched it.
series.
I didn't watch it.
That's
I heard
another
good
thing
things.
that happened in 2019 that feels infinitely far away now.
Yeah.
I
Right.
guess.
Yeah.
So, all right. So Derek and I need to watch The Witcher, and Steve, you need to watch Castlevania. Then we'll come back and compare notes.
Yes, the
Yeah.
Witcher is incredibly good. I
Good
love
to know.
it.
Okay.
I mean I like the game. I I like The Witcher 3 plenty, but I feel like the show stands well on its own outside of the games. Henry Cavill.
I heard
did,
it brings in stuff in the books as well. So
yeah,
that
the only
helps.
thing I would say that I disliked, and this is strictly as someone who has played The Witcher, The Witcher, it's hard, it's jarring to see Geralt, a much beefier version of Geralt. Like Geralt in the games is not Henry Cavill level huge, but the other part is just the voice actor for Geralt of Rivia is just iconic, and it's like hearing Kiefer Sutherland play Solid Snake for the first time. If you've played the games, you're like, that is not the voice of Geralt, damn it. But I will say Henry Cavill does a really good job, and it does a good job like taking the source material and adapting it to where you don't even need to like video games to like the show, which
good.
I think very few video game IPs manage to pull off.
Well, that's what Castlevania does as well. So I think maybe we really do need to both go watch the other show and come back. Yeah.
I'm trying to make more time in my life for TV, which
That
is
is difficult.
It really is. So I'm going to try to get Castlevania on the docket for my TV viewing time.
Nice.
But yeah, I would definitely watch it. I plan to watch Castlevania, but I would agree. If you like video games and have not seen The Witcher, you are doing yourself a disservice.
All right. It's going on the list.
All right. Well, let's see if this gets added to a list. So,
Oh, Derek, actually, we have a super chat from before.
I am so sorry. I completely
Oh, no, it's
missed
okay.
that.
It was another $4 donation from Goldstorm07 saying his unfinished work is being put out Tolkien style, meaning I think Kentaro Miura talking about the Berserk creator who recently passed away. So yes,
So
apparently
it's
his
more of a encyclopedia, not encyclopedia, but like not a complete story, but just like here's the stories that would have been put out there.
right. So
Okay.
yeah, exactly. So thank you again for that
Right.
nugget of information and for the additional $4 donation, Goldstorm07.
Yeah,
we
thank
really
you.
appreciate it.
I'm
you very
excited to
much.
know that means that there's at least some more Berserk in the future.
Exactly.
Very cool. All right, let's bring up the next story. And a Konami producer has teased plans to outsource more of their IPs following GetsuFumaDen. And I didn't even realize until Steve said something that apparently it's already, an alpha?
Yeah, so it's in Steam Early Access. It's
Early Access.
$24.99, and when I saw it, I was like, "Yep," and I bought it right before the show. So I've played maybe the first 5 to 10 minutes of GetsuFumaDen, and I'm not going to say it's something special, but it is really fun.
Mhm. I mean, that's a good idea. Sega's done a little bit of that, and it's always seemed to work out pretty successfully. So, yeah, let people use your IPs. We might get some good stuff.
Yeah,
What a
I
concept,
mean,
right?
exactly. Just do something, Konami. I mean, look, we just got done talking about it, but we've seen what can happen when Konami outsources their IPs to the right people. The Castlevania anime happens, and it was awesome. So do that with your games, man. Castlevania, Silent Hill. Metal Gear. There's so much that they're sitting on, so many brilliant IPs that we all grew up with and still love to this day. And I hate that Konami currently exists as it does because they're sitting on too many valuable IPs and beloved characters to just not be using them.
Yeah, I agree. I want Goemon.
Goemon,
Oh,
please.
Goemon.
Hell yes.
Give me
I
a
want a new Goemon. Yeah.
give me a damn Goemon game. Like Goemon 64, and I know Legend of the Mystical Ninja 64. I think is the proper name. One of my favorite N64 games of all time. The fact that they slipped a Super Saiyan gag in there just ends me
Yeah.
every time he uses it.
Yeah.
I think Goemon would be a good choice too. It kind of fits that whole weird vibe that GetsuFumaDen has, because this is only the second time GetsuFumaDen has gotten a game. So, I mean, that's saying something. This isn't even a franchise. It's just sort of like a weird Japanese Castlevania-esque game, and now it's something very different. And I'm curious about it. I think it looks beautiful. I think it has a lot of potential. I have not tried out the early access just because I don't play PC games a lot. But the Switch version also isn't coming until 2022. But yeah, something like a throwback Goemon game like on the SNES, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I think that, companies like Konami, and I don't want to lump Sega and Konami together because at least Sega makes games from time to time. But companies like Konami that have really, for lack of a better term, squandered their development resources, it would be wise for them to just license their IP out to people who would treat them with care and make good games with them. In fact, Audoodle in the patron chat says the original creator of Goemon runs Goodfeel, and Goodfeel is currently making their own Goemon-like game. Konami, what are you doing?
There you
I don't know
go.
what that is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
think I've heard of
Audoodle, if
that.
you have more information on that, please drop the name of that game in the chat, and I would love to learn more.
Yeah, I didn't know they were making a Goemon-esque game, but then let them make a Goemon game. Like, please, there's so much. Fortunately, as a Bimani fan, I can say at least that Konami has continued to make new DDR and Bimani games, and that's awesome. But that's not all I want to see from them. And we haven't even, I mean, we mentioned some IPs, but there's Contra, there's Suikoden, Rocket Knight Adventures. I know they tried to revive Rocket Knight Adventures one time, I think maybe on the Xbox 360 and PS3. Yeah, and it was okay, but they could try again. Like, they have so many cool characters and cool IPs that they're just sitting on, and we need to see more stuff from those series, especially for me, Silent Hill. If I could pick one, it would be give Silent Hill to a studio that knows what they are doing with it. And I just want a new legitimate Silent Hill game so badly.
I mean, I gotta say Castlevania, so there you go.
Yeah. Castlevania was like it's really hard for me. It's between Castlevania and Silent Hill. I might have to give the nod to Silent Hill, but there you can't go wrong. Is my whole point. This is Konami. They're one of the most storied developers of the '90s and aughts for a reason, and it's just such a shame to see what they've become these days. And I hope that they can match their IPs with the right people who want to make kick-ass games.
I almost dread to even invoke its name, but that last Contra, was that in-house or was that a license out thing? I'm not sure if that's part of this strategy or if that was kind of the wake-up call.
I'm not sure. It was Contra Rogue Core, which was
Yeah, I'm looking that up
unfortunate.
right now.
It was developed by Toy Logic. Not sure.
What's Toy Logic worked on?
Yeah,
Toy Logic.
let's see.
I don't even think they have a. I don't think they have a Wikipedia page.
They apparently
They did-
helped based on Giant Bomb's page about them, they helped with the 3DS version of Dragon Quest XI. Weirdly enough, I'm seeing
They
game
did
like the
something
Evil
called
Within.
Happy Wars.
Yeah, Happy Wars, the Evil Within, Near Replicants on here.
They worked on.
Okay.
Oh,
and
Toy
then made
Logic
that-
did handle the replicant, so they're
Okay.
more of a port studio. So not.
I guess they
bad.
helped with Smash Brothers Brawl,
So-
randomly enough.
Then they made
Ninja
that
Turtles
TMT
Smash Up.
Smash.
What a weird.
Yeah, exactly.
Real quick, I want to show this off for those of us in the audience like me that didn't know that Good Feel was working on a Goemon alike, I guess. I don't know if y'all can see that clearly, but this is concept art that Nintendo Life posted, and it's very clearly like ancient Japan based. There's no name for the game yet. But
Okay.
I gotta admit, it looks really good, and I'm sorry my screen's all washed out looking. I don't know, but Nintendo Life has an article. If you search for Good Feel Goemon, it's the first hit from October of last year apparently, and the game is supposed to release this year. So nice. I will keep my eyes on that. Maybe that'll be in Nintendo's E3 Direct. I sure hope so.
Oh, that'd
Yeah.
be cool.
Right. Adam Davis YT in the patron chat says, I have a great studio for Silent Hill. Kojima Productions and Strike Through. And obviously will never happen, but that would be the dream, man. If they could go and actually make Silent Hills just after PT. PT was I don't have to talk about how promising it was, but from a huge fan of the kind of horror that Silent Hill goes all in on, PT was so promising. And it hurts. It hurts that we never got to have that made into a full game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and move over to story number 6, as this is nice to see. So Twitch has added over 350 new tags like Black, Transgender, and Disabled, basically opening it up more so they can classify the streams related to gender, sexual orientation, race, nationality, ability, mental health, and more. They're saying Twitch says they are completely optional and simply give creators more choices. Some of those choices, which will allow the users to better focus and promote the stuff they're into, include also veteran and VTuber. So they said they worked with third-party organizations such as GLAD, the Trevor Project, Able Gamers, Special Effect, and other experts focused on the progress of underrepresented racial and ethnic groups, LGBTQIA+, disabled and marginalized communities. They also received feedback from the wider Twitch community itself, and they've been asking for more specific tags like this ever since the tag system was launched back in 2018. So, yeah, more representation. Good stuff.
Man,
Oh, yeah.
every time Twitch does something good, though, they do it in like the worst way to do a good thing, and it's really confusing. Like, they obviously, like, you can't tell me it took them 3 years to realize you needed the vast majority of these tags, but they were like, oh man, hot tubs are a thing. We better get on this now. Now's the time. Like, come on, man. You had 3 years. You didn't know that trans people wanted their own tag for 1,000 days?
This is definitely
but the hot tub meta's getting big, so we better we can't just roll out the hot tub tag. We got to get all the other ones that are actually important. Fuck a hot tub. If you're like, stream in a hot tub if that's what you want to do, but why do people care? Why? Why?
Yeah, this is definitely one of those better late than never things, but this is something that obviously should have been addressed a long time ago, and it shouldn't have taken the whole hot tub stream thing to bring it to the fore. Yeah.
Like, people in a hot tub streaming, I don't get it. Good for you, I guess. But, I mean, that shouldn't have been the reason that we got these. But I'm happy they exist. I agree with you, Derek. It is objectively cool. More representation is always good. But hot tubs...
Good to do. Reasoning.
Like, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Every time Twitch does a good thing, they somehow, like, they never stick the landing. They could have just been like, we did this because we care. But they're like, we did this because people in hot tubs are mad. And I'm like, why? Like, one, who thought about that? Like, I don't ever think, man, I need to take a bath, but I also need to create content. I'm going to find a way to do both.
Same. Yeah.
Like...
To be fair, usually, we're not really the type that people want to see in a hot tub.
Well, I agree with that, but I'm just saying we're a verb away from a taking a dump stream. That is how close we're getting. We're right on the cusp of it.
Yeah.
And it's about to happen. And we're about to have toilet streams. And people are going to be like, what? It's not sexy. Well, yeah, you're right. You're objectively right. But you're also doing something you shouldn't be doing. Stop it. Stop it.
If this actually happens, Steve, I'm blaming you for the proliferation of toilet stream. You are the one I'm blaming for this. Yeah.
Listen, I'm not saying, like, have you guys seen, I have to point this out, have you guys seen the Corsair, like, hot tub streamer starter pack tweet that's been going around since all this started?
No.
There's like somebody photoshopped together, like, just a hot tub with, like, an Elgato logo on it with some key lights hanging from it and, like, a camera pointed at it. It looks like a real, like, product that Elgato would make. But as much as I love Elgato products, hi, thanks for the lights. I don't get it. I don't understand what happens on Twitch. Derek, I know you're a partner, so I blame you partially for this. I don't know how we evolved to a point where creating content involved being in a hot tub. I just don't. Maybe I'm too old, man.
I mean, I saw somebody asking if ASD was represented in there, so I was trying to see if there was a list of all of these so I could try to search for them, but I'm not seeing like a complete list yet. And it hasn't actually been implemented yet. Soon, because they're going to be going live on May 26th to speak more about the tags and address as many questions from the chat as I can. So you'll be able to find out hopefully more there, but I don't see a complete list of what some of the tags include. There is that, but yeah, I mean, people have their own things they like. They do. They come up with the ideas and they work, and then they just do them. So
there are things I love about Twitch. Like, I love that there's like cooking shows on Twitch. I love that there are talk shows on Twitch. I would love to have a talk show here on YouTube.
Longest time.
Yeah, I think that there's great things. I don't know why a hot tub stream is a thing that, like, someone came up with it and it became popular. I don't blame the person. I blame society. I gotta
say, Steve, I don't know that it's a coincidence that much of the time we've been talking about this and people have been throwing out the idea of GVG hot tub streams that we've had 420 people watching. I don't know if that's coincidence.
Quick, somebody slam in a $69 donation and I'll get in a hot tub tonight.
Right. Yeah.
I'm just saying. No, I think, more power to you if that's the content you create. I just wonder how it became so big that it merited Twitch to actually move and do something.
Right. I don't get the appeal. I don't think anybody wants to see us stream from a hot tub.
No, you don't.
That's the kind of content people come to GVG for. But yeah,
all I can say, if you came up with that idea and it works for you, perfect.
Good no, I'm not trying to shit on anyone's hustle here.
System, and hey, Twitch bowed to it. They don't have to worry about it anymore. And now, even if it was tangential, oh my god!
Are you kidding me?
Oh no! Oh no!
What?
Oh no!
What? You gotta be kidding me!
I will. I don't know where I'm gonna. Nice.
This might be the single most funny and also terrifying moment on any episode of TNT yet.
Oh God, I'm gonna do it. I will.
I mean, you have to now.
I will commit to both of you. On Wednesday's episode, I will stream from a heated body of water. I don't know what that means, but I will sort it out. I mean,
are you going to be in said heated body of water though? I think is the main question here. Oh man,
I will. What the fuck have I done?
Right. You knew somebody was going to do this,
so I'm going to read these out. Rob Arman X with a $69 donation.
Oh my god,
nice. Give me a tub, Steve, and then Chocolate Cake with another $69 donation with just. Nice. All right. I'll see y'all Wednesday.
Before that, we don't want to miss Toon J's $2 donation saying, Hank Hill, oh my God, it's all toilet sounds.
We are contributing to the downfall of society, and I'm here for it. Thank you guys so much. That's incredibly generous. I will make that happen strictly because I made a promise, assuming no one would do it.
You know you can't say stuff like
Here
that and
we
not
are.
realize.
I will say, I think I don't know what it is yet. I'm still trying to formulate it, but I think there's a joke somewhere in the fact that one of the people who donated $69 is named Chocolate Cake. I don't know what the joke is, but there's something there, and I'm just trying to figure it out.
Juan in the patron chat asked, "Where's the chicken review?" It's with with Brandon for editing. So there's a lot that's going on in that. You Narukami, what if somebody donated $420.69? I don't know. I literally
Then I really wouldn't even know what to
spent
do.
my neurons on this idea. So
I know.
if somebody does that, I will let you dictate the terms of the stream as long as they're not sexual in nature. How's that? But
God. Amy's talking about our tub and the fact that she has like pretty glowing rock salt for ambience. I did not agree to this. That was all Steve. So there you go.
Listen, I just want to point out, I didn't say that I would not be that I would wear hot tub appropriate attire. I will be fully clothed. I will just be in water.
See, I wasn't going to say anything, but because it felt like low-hanging fruit, but now I feel okay pointing it out because all in that in our live audience chat did too, saying, I will let you dictate. I was like, you're saying it's not sexual, Steve, but then you said dictating, and I'm just like,
Listen,
you know?
I said on our last episode that I would suffer for the fans for free, but apparently I'll also do it for exactly $69.
Apparently so. Also, Skullkid Tiger
boy.
says hashtag Wet Steve Wednesday.
Oh my God.
Oh
my God.
man.
I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna have like a tray, like a in tub tray with like snacks on it. Fuck it. I'm going vacation
We
mode
might
on the
have to
next
have
episode.
Brandon host this so you can have all your electronics in
Are
the
you
tub.
kidding me? I got like an
I
articulated
didn't realize it was
arm.
already the post show, man. Oh, by the way, Chris, I'm sorry. I just want to apologize to you, Chris, that you're here for this. For this.
No.
You're good.
If anybody's
That's better than
appropriate
I
for
would've
this
expected.
conversation, it's Chris and the FTCR guys.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
Yeah, this is just another day for me, but yeah.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
You guys have a great audience.
yeah, there we go.
Oh my god.
Oh God. Well, let's go ahead and for some interesting, hopeful, I guess, news. I don't know, to just unfortunate things. How are we supposed to take this? Oh my God.
I can tell you how. Let's talk about a story about Sackboy. That's how you take this from one
Before
to the other.
that, since we're still in the middle, Joshua Rhodes with a $50 donation says, "Here, I'll cover the snack." So there you go, Steve. Have some
Woo!
snack money.
Oh my
That's it. We eating
god.
chicken wings during the episode.
Oh God.
All
Well,
right.
suffice to say, thank you all so much for your incredible support. I mean, it may be for scary reasons right now, but thank you all so much for the incredible donation. Also,
Yeah.
we have one more super chat, Derek.
Yeah, Sketch at MPM with $3.99 saying, "I want Steve to get drunk and explain DBZ lore."
Listen,
Hey, I
all you
want
need
that
to
too.
do is meet me at E3 or PAX or anywhere else, and at some bar somewhere. I have done that. In fact, I have a deal with Imran, who wrote the Fanbite story, that next time I see him at a show, I am going to pick out like the worst Dragon Ball shirt I can find. Like I'm talking like 90s bowler style shirt with like blue flames and like Goku and Yamcha on it for no
I
reason.
remember those.
I'm gonna get one of those, so you'll know where to find me. Although I may Patreon only, patreon.com/gvgaming if you want to see me do something that stupid. I could probably do a patron exclusive drunk ass Dragon Ball lore video. We'll see.
Nice.
There you go.
All
Okay.
right. So, with that out of the way,
With that out of the way, exactly. Let's go ahead and move on to the next story that involves Sackboy, as Ash said. So, the Little Big Planet servers were taken down recently due to hackers inserting hateful error messages, which is why would you do that on this old game?
Because
apparently-
people gonna people.
Exactly. It's
Unfortunately.
just apparently due to the severity of the recent attacks, they have had no other option than to disable the game servers. That must have been horrible to have to do that many, to have to do that, something of that severity. Like, what the hell?
yeah,
Guess people are just gonna cause shit. There are always gonna be bad faith actors who will just do shit because they can, right? Unfortunately, what else do you even say about this? It's just, it sucks.
yeah. This is it's disgusting, man. What is the point? what is the point of attacking a 13-year-old game? This game came out in 2008, and you're still messing with the community. Like, what's the purpose?
It's like, oh, it's old enough that we won't get in trouble, and they just sort of go for it. It's like, nobody will notice, but no, people still play a bunch of old games.
A lot of kids play these games.
Yeah.
That's where I draw the line. Like, I get it, well, I mean, you shouldn't be posting offensive shit in games you play or anywhere really, but come on, like they have to have got some kids with this, and that's terrible. And even if they didn't, what is the value in doing something like this? You clearly have some kind of considerable talent. You're hacking Sony's servers. You couldn't just use that for good? I don't know.
Yeah, it's
Hackers for good never really happens. Sometimes, but not often.
yeah, and as Becca's live in the in our live audience chat says, I hate that this is normalized. I agree. Like, it's almost to the point. It's gotten to the point where it's not even that like we're reporting on it because it's surprising. I mean, it's worth talking about. But when I see something like that these days, I have to admit, I'm like, oh yeah, people being shitty. Yeah, okay, that sounds about right. And it's just, yeah, it's just a shame.
Well, there's really not much else to say other than they screw these people. So we had to go from such a fun moment and just weirdness to this downer of a story. So
Yeah, right.
let's get away from
moment.
there. People gonna suck. Just move on to story 8, which speaking of old games getting updates, 18 years later, the Halo PC port is getting visual fixes. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we were just talking about better late than never for Twitch. This is another better late than never story. Almost 2 decades, really?
Well, this is such an interesting story. So the original Halo PC port was handled by Gearbox, like the Borderlands guys.
Right.
And it has been the code base that has been used for every original Halo PC port since then. So every other version of Halo that's come out in the ensuing 18 years has been based off of what honestly was not a very good port by Gearbox. And 343, who has since, assumed control of Halo from Bungie, is deciding after all this time that they want to fix it. They want to make it right. So there's an insider build, like a preview or beta build of Master Chief Collection that includes a fixed up port of Halo 1 in there, and it's still very incomplete. Like there are textures that just aren't good or are somehow worse than the ones in the Gearbox port. But the fact that they're even actively trying to do this is really cool. I love the fact that Halo fans on PC are finally going to get a port that at least lines up with the Xbox version at a minimum. Because we don't have these problems. If you're playing it on a console, Halo 1 looks fine because they're using the original Halo 1. So I don't know. It's cool that Microsoft and 343 are going out of their way after all this time to fix this long-running issue with Halo. And it's not like they're re-releasing it for more money. They're just doing it to be kind to the community, which I think is really cool. And they're not even,
Definitely
out here running press releases about it. It's just kind of quietly happening.
Yeah, and that's certainly something I can appreciate and get behind for sure.
Yeah, it's just a nice little thing. I mean, I remember people playing the PC version is like, oh, okay, that's cool. I mean, I haven't played the original Halo in so long. I've really not a lot to say about this other than like, that's cool.
Yeah,
What about you, Chris?
Yeah, go ahead,
I'm
Chris.
not much of a Halo guy, yeah. I won't lie, but I'm just looking at the screenshots on this IGN article, and I wish there was just like a little like something to point at for if you're not too familiar with the original Halo or anything, because I'm looking at these comparisons, and outside of the one of the dude where it shows all 3 in the same shot, I'm just kind of squinting at this. Like, some of this I can see a difference on, like ship, but a lot of it's going over my head. But I'm happy to hear it's happening.
Right. And I guess, I mean, I'm not a big Halo guy either, but I also, from just kind of osmosis by hearing about it, I know that 343 has not always had the best track record with regard to the Master Chief Collection. So I imagine that any cool little positive olive branches they can extend to the community, they're going to do it, right? Because I know that overall their story has not been a positive one, or at least not a uniformly positive one, with regard to the Master Chief Collection.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's about the best you can put it. So, yeah. I mean, cool that they're doing it. It's a nice little show of good faith, I think is the best way to put it. It's just reaching out to that community. It's like, hey, here you go. There you go.
Right.
Oh goodness. Sorry. I like the Halo series. I just haven't played it in a while, mainly since Reach. Yeah.
Right.
Reach.
Yeah. Well, I think Microsoft is really
actually.
targeting Infinite as like a jumping on point for lapsed fans. It feels like a reboot of the franchise more than like a direct sequel to 5. So I'm hopeful. I mean, E3's around the corner. We should learn more about Infinite, I would hope. Microsoft is one of the few companies that still is confirmed to have like a big presence at whatever form E3 takes. I submitted my application today. I have no clue what that means.
I know. That is another question. Like, what does the media badge get you for E3 this year? We don't know.
Exactly. It's such a weird thing.
Yeah. So either way, we'll be covering E3, whatever that means. But I'm excited to see more from Halo Infinite. It is just a cool, nice thing to close out the show with. That Microsoft is doing something nice, and there's no real
nice little show
incentive.
of good faith.
There's no money. It's just nice to do for the community, and they're not even trying to promote the fact they're doing it. So good on you, Microsoft. Good on you, 343. Fixing a long broken port is a really cool thing to do. I'm with you guys, though. I don't really know what the differences are, but it is really nice to see. And hey, if it makes people happy, that's a good thing.
Exactly.
Cool. Well, with that, I believe we've covered all the major headlines from today's news. But before we sign off, Chris, where can everybody find you at?
Main way is twitter.com/MykonosFan, or just type MykonosFan into YouTube. I'll pop right up pretty much. So pretty easy.
Nice.
Can I plug one thing though before we end?
Of course. If you weren't, I was going to do it. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Derek might even pop in on this one, but this Saturday, May 29th at 3 p.m. Eastern time, me and the Golden Bolt, who I believe was on your season 1 finale, if I remember right.
Yes. I think so. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. We're going to be racing for, you can just easily find it at twitch.tv/the charity room. We're doing an event called Race It and Clank Clock Blockers. We're raising money for the American Heart Association. He's a super big Ratchet guy, so he's going to be playing the original Ratchet and Clank. And I kind of know Ratchet, so I'm going to be racing against him with the shorter PS4 version. And somewhere between his knowledge and my relative ness, we'll hopefully have a good time and raise a lot of money there. But I don't know who's going to win. I kind of told him about how long my side should take, but either way, it's for fun, and we're raising money for a good cause. So if you want to stop by that and check that out.
I didn't realize you were racing him in the new version. Like, I didn't realize it was old versus new.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Trying to make that.
No, if we were both playing PS2, he'd win landslide. But since the PS4 version is kind of shorter, we're hoping that kind of makes it work out a little better. So,
plus, people can actually compare the visual differences right off the bat because they're similar but very different games.
Right.
Yeah. And he knows way, way too much about Ratchet and Clank. So at worst, it should be informative to watch. So.
Oh yeah. I'm looking forward to his Up Your Arsenal video. So
yeah,
very cool.
Yeah, that should be coming out really soon, by the way.
So yep, you guys know how much of a Ratchet and Clank fan I am, so I definitely want to see if I can find the time to pop in there and at least say hi to you guys because it does sound like a lot of fun. But yeah, definitely check that out. But of course, we also have to give a very special thanks to all of our patrons, big and small, but especially those at the producer tier, as this show just would not be possible without all of you. Thank you so much. Thank you for indulging in Steve's insanity. But of course, a massive, massive thank you to our executive producers and above. And that includes Jared Ettinger, Brandon Bovia, Rob Arman X, Itiono Ben, Dan Inchwhistle, Dennis J, Z Patty, Hyrule Hermit, Sky Blue Flames, Adam O'Sullivan, It's ATM, Octopuppet, Richard Herrera, Michael Phone, Aiko Carroll, The D-Pad, Vesmio, Waffle King, Kitty Kong Fax, Angel Martinez, Vedran Hotek, 112, Macalau, John, Joshua Hunter, Evernight Studio, Benny Yao, Emerald, Azran127, Ken Roulette 09, Jake Pelka, Geller, Joseph Retkin, Titus Malvolio, Charlie Bird, Geeky Griffin, Lucky Wonderfish, Top Dog 23100, Young Ben Kenobi, Doug Shomix, Andrew Medeiros, Orem M, Sakuragi, Becca, Rocks the Cat, Fizzy Wighoid, Critmonger, The Legend of Groose, Eddie B, Kai Ed, Kit Fisto, West Egg, Master Lynx, Deaneth, Coda, Michael McCall, Matthew Wong, Goron Amber, Straightlace, Hooby, Wolf X Blake, Moon Macarons, Ascaron 809, Kane, Captain Finlandia, 60 Minutes and 60 Seconds, Spicy Pandotter, The Game Orb, Dano the Artist, Ravalox, Synchro Lord, Brainchild, Rosa Bowling,
Hi, Mom.
Kotar Peck, Scuff 196, Skull Kid Tiger, AJB Cool, Blizzica, Jason Uloa, Jaden Buck, Phantom Project, Wheezy Penguin, Derek, Steven Nelson, Ray Clausen Jr., and Nathan the voice actor. Whew, thank you so much to all of you. And remember that you too can become a patron over at patreon.com/gvgaming, where you can get access to our exclusive post-show and ad-free content for as little as $5 a month. And including, I guess, Steve's potential drunken ramblings on Dragon Ball Z. I don't know. It might happen. Who
I'm going to
knows?
start training for that right now.
There you go. So thank you all so much for watching. And if you like this video, be sure to subscribe to Good Vibes Gaming for more good times like these. So until next time, good night and good vibes.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.